What's up, guys? So I was once asked this question: what have you failed at? And I honestly didn't know how to answer it. But today, we're gonna do just that. Failure. What have I failed at? That's a tough question. I never really thought about it and was kind of caught off guard when I was asked it. I didn't know how to answer it. So I took some time to think about what in my life have I failed at and what did I learn from it? It took a while for me to figure out, so I kind of did some research and came across this great quote when Thomas Edison was once asked, "How does it feel to fail 1,000 times at inventing the light bulb?" And his response was awesome. It's like, it's not that I failed 1,000 times. It took 1,000 times to get it right. Boy, did that change my perspective on failure. Because in my teenage years, I'd say, failure is not an option. We don't fail. We win, win, win. And success is the only answer. But in reality, we learn so much more from our failures. And I was humbled when I ran across that quote. And you think about the inventions that we take for granted today, like the Wright brothers in the airplane. How many times did they try and fail before they could get that plane to take flight? Apple and Steve Jobs and everything that he probably failed at to try to get the iPhone that we all have in our pockets. Some of our greatest wins first were failures, and we lose more than we win, but we gain knowledge out of that. And it was humbling to do this and think about this and be asked this question. So what in your life have you failed at, and what have you learned from it? Well, today I got a job on the press that started off very hopeful, and I was super confident, and then I was humbled as I failed. So join me as we give this thing a shot and take a look at where I messed up today. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. It involves a much larger screen, reflective water-based ink, and a nice high quality safety colored garment. Let's see what we can make today. Let that run down a little bit and hit it with some air, clean it out, and let the stencil dry. Let's put it up on the press. Alright, that should work. Okay, now I have to wait for the stencil to dry before I can put ink on it, especially water-based ink, because I didn't add any hardener or anything in the emulsion. I did order 2 screens, which I'll probably end up burning another one because water-based eats through the emulsion on the screens over a long period of time. I don't have a whole lot of these to do or experiment with or try, so I think we'll make it with one, and that's why I didn't add anything, because I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't want to leave this as a stencil if it wasn't going to work. So we're gonna embrace failure again yet today, and hopefully, end triumphantly and get it done the first time. Put me on there. So this is a water-based reflective ink. So it's got reflective little pieces of metal flake in there. See if you can see it on the lid or in the container. But with water-based, it's going to be significantly softer to wear than plastic or the reflective tape that you would put on with a heat press. So it'll flex with you, it'll breathe. I'm excited, and I hope it's gonna work, because in my head it sounds like it's just gonna go smoothly, but water-based inks, it's a whole nother ball game. So let's get this mixed up. So unfortunately, this is not gonna work. I was looking forward to the comfort of this squeegee to do on this, but a bigger screen, a bigger print, a bigger design calls for a bigger squeegee. You want your squeegee to be just about the size of the design. No sense in having it bigger or smaller, obviously. So this is gonna work. I used to do a whole lot of sign screen printing, and that's why I'm familiar with water-based inks, is because we used water-based or style of printing where you have to flood the screen and keep it wet, unlike plastisol, which is actually really easy to work with and never dries. I can leave it up here all the time. Water-based is completely different, and I think it takes a lot more experience, and that's something I actually started out with. Plastisol wasn't the first thing I printed, but when I did print it, I fell in love with it, because I was like, wow, this is way easier. I've always kind of been one to start with the harder stuff first, makes the easier stuff easier, the harder stuff easy. I don't know. This is the way I do things. That was a great sound. I'm gonna wait till the very last minute to put ink on here, make sure I get everything covered. Because once water-based hits the screen, it's go time, and you can't stop. You just gotta keep it moving. So let's do maybe a test print and do some glue on these boards, and we'll start there. There it is. Alright, let's get some of this on the screen. A lot runnier than plastisol. Let's go ahead and put some up here too. Why not? The key here is to do floods. So this is gonna be our flood print, and then you want to leave it leave it like this. Keep the whole image covered so it doesn't dry out. Still can't see the reflective as much as that's what happens when it dries. The light's got to hit it just right. So, got us a test shirt. Okay. I'm just gonna go for it. Go ahead and pull. That's a big screen. I feel like I can see it more. I got an overhead light, and if it hits it just right, I can tell. It's really light looking. See that on film. It looks cool. I have to have my shadow in there so you guys get the effect. But I think it worked. Right there, look at that. So we're gonna do black ink with the logo between. Was normally when we get shirts that come in with the reflective stuff on them already, we just print the customer's logo big on the back. Bada bing, bada boom. They're out, they're safe. They got their logo on it. Now with us doing the reflective stripe, I kept in mind that we wanted to still continue to do that and put a full back logo. So we're just gonna do it between the stripes like usual in black ink, just like this. Hit it. Just like that. All right, now we do a wash test and see how good this holds up. Oh no. Well, that's an absolute bummer. All of the reflective washed out. But the plastisol looks amazing. That stayed on there great. The reflective is gone. There's little bits on the edge here. That's not gonna work at all. That's a bummer. So it looks like it's to the heat press reflective tape to try to get this to be a little bit more comfortable and breathable. But that's quite a disappointment that that's completely gone. So back to the drawing board. I guess you gotta try and fail to figure out what does and doesn't work. And that's not gonna work. All right, here we are next to the heat press, which I will be applying segmented reflective tape. And the reason I went with the segmented stuff is because there's space in between each one of these lines here, and it breaks it up and makes it a little bit more comfortable on the shirt, especially when we're using a lightweight garment. I've honestly never done this before. I've ordered these with the stuff already on it, and then we print them in-house. But this will be the first time I do it, and let's turn on the press and give it a shot. I think since this is just a bunch of test and trial and error and learning, we're just gonna put this on here right over the top of the Waterbase print area and just kind of cover it up for a dirty work shirt and experiment with it. So the good thing to that is I know where it's gonna go now because I'm just gonna go right over the top of that. So yeah, we're just gonna experiment and try new things. I kind of cut the angle of the sleeve here, so we'll go on this side with this one and this side with this one. All right, here's nothing. So it is not on the bottom yet here, so. For a second I didn't think it was gonna come off. I'm like, really? Ooh, that looks good though. That's pretty comfortable. I like that. It's not bad. That sticks good. Now, realistically, you gotta ask yourself, is this the best use of my time and resources to provide a service like this on top of all the things that I already do? It looks really good, and I can do it, but the question is, should I do it? Should this be a service that I offer? Or maybe I find someone that would be willing to just do the taping, and then we could add all the logos and stuff to it on this particular garment, just to put somebody in the right position to do something, to make an offer of a new service or product. Just some things to consider as a business owner and a creative. Make sure that whatever you're doing something that you're really good at. I'm sure over a period of time messing around with this, we'd get good at it, we'd perfect it. But we've already got a lot of other services on our plate, and that would be like with our embroidery, our screen printing, and all those other things that we offer to our clients. And is this something that would be feasible for us to tackle? I don't know. Depends on the demand. I've only been asked a handful of times to do something like this, and there's a lot of companies that already do this that you can order and get and then print their logo on it for them. So just some things to consider. Don't just say, hey, I can do everything, because should you? Really think about it. Is it your best yes? Well, that's what I got for you today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching my failures. It's scary to be vulnerable on a platform and be like, you know what? I don't win every day. In fact, from our failures, we learn so much, and then we can have better successes. But remember, you were designed to do great things. Just keep at it, and don't be afraid to take failure and go straight on, head on, and take it and learn from it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.